Hey guys, today is August 15th, 2017. It is past midnight, so that sucks because I'll be going to bed late and I'm going to be super tired tomorrow. But I decided to do another vlog because some things have happened and I need to do these a little more frequently than weekly. But not too much progress has been happening in my whole journey and doing all this stuff. But I did a podcast today with Spencer, who does the Esports Narrative. It's a very, very new podcast, but I totally love the vibe that I get from talking to Spencer and just what he's doing. Like I said, it's really new. It's always great to see another podcaster on the scene. He doesn't play League of Legends, but that's okay. It's the whole like esports thing, and it's something that I kind of wanted to do, and it's what I've started doing with Ever Esports. You know, we recorded the second episode of that, so that's going strong. We'll probably record the third episode of or The Grind. We renamed that podcast. And yeah, it's interesting, and I really enjoyed the interview. It was very quick. I thought he interviewed super well, so I was really cool to see that. I'm really excited to hear how I did because I have the tendency to ramble a bit, and I think I talked a bit too long. But then again, the way I heard his other episodes, it kind of seems like it was like the guests just talk, and it's a straight up interview where he asks questions and they talk for 5 minutes. So I kind of stuck with that format, whether I knew whether I intended to or not. But it was really exciting. I love talking about it. The great thing I love hearing from people is that he mentioned that, oh, you bleed passion, you can totally hear it, and that's not the first time I've heard that. So that's really exciting to hear. That must really mean I'm passionate about it, and people can tell. And I tend to be passionate about things that I'm involved in. So that's a good sign. It was kind of a pick-me-up. I really like doing collaborations. I've been thinking about doing more in the future, just trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe like a host swap. That's one thing that he mentioned that I've thought about. It'd be really cool to get like someone on the Trinity Force Network to host the Lola podcast for an episode. I think that'd be really fun. Another thing that's been on my mind is that I've spread myself a little too thin. I'm trying to do too many projects, and I'm not giving my all onto one project or two projects, and that's because I'm a bit afraid to commit to a one idea or two ideas. You know, I feel like the Lola podcast, just the way it is, it kind of has a limitation to how much it can grow because of my ability to grow it versus my the fact that I really am dependent on everyone else that's a part of the podcast. You know, they are so knowledgeable compared to me, especially this year where I've dropped off my league consuming like league content. So those guys are totally on the ball on what's going on while I'm a little out of the loop. So that means like I can't just create a podcast off of my own back. I really have to depend on them. And what happens is that they are limited in the time that they're going to put in and the effort they're going to put in, which is perfectly fine. So therefore, that means Lola Podcast really has a ceiling that's lower than I want it to. So, and because I can't give the time to get better at League and to watch streams and all that kind of stuff, it's just Lola is not the priority in my goals anymore because, you know, I need to make something very successful in the eyes of others, not just myself. So that's why I've started doing like the Ever Esports podcast, The Grind with the Ever Esports, because I want to get that experience interviewing people and being a better interviewer. And that's what it kind of reminded me doing, being a part of the Esports Narrative. It was really exciting, and he did a good job getting me to talk, so that's always good. But I'm a pretty open book. So I'm thinking like, what are the projects that I really need to focus on, you know? And I think one of them has to be obviously the Weldon Green podcast and hopefully the Runtime podcast, but Weldon has been very MIA on me, which kind of sucks, but he's a busy guy and I just have to be patient. And because I really can't depend on Weldon to give me all the work I need, at least until we speak and like really get a time to sit down and talk and plan for the future, that means I need to put things in and put things in my hands so I can do things. So there's 2 projects that I really want to work on. One of them is like a daily news story thing, and I say daily lightly. It probably won't be daily. Maybe it's like a 3 times a week, or like maybe even once a week, or maybe twice a week actually. Twice a week might be good. But like a 5-10 minute thing, like Philip DeFranco style, like news show where we just talk about things that happen in League of Legends. There's plenty to talk about. I'll be reading like articles and watching streams like I'm kind of already doing. I will have to do more. But then it'll also be like, being a personality. I think that's what it'll do. It'll help me speak and be a personality and be more funny and improv, like those kind of things, which are really useful skills. I don't know if I want to be a personality. I don't know if I have that in me. It might be fun. I don't really think I care about that fame, and I'm not sure if I have the ego to really want to be a personality, but something that I could try. And the other idea that I have is the Immortals podcast that I've been talking about, and except this would actually be like a solo gig where it's a narrative. Immortals has not hit playoff yet. They have placed second this season, and they look good. They look really, really good for the chance of getting to Worlds, which is something they haven't done. I really believe in that organization. I think they're doing a good job. I like Noah. I think his decisions are really sound. So I think following Immortals, and even potentially like, hey, what if Immortals like, hey Sam, we want to pick you up and make us content and podcasts. I think that'd be really cool. So I think the Immortals podcast idea is a really good one, where I just make like a narrative, like 10-15 minute like summary of like what happened like throughout their whole season, like each week, or maybe 2 weeks in a row. I don't really know. But there's like so many interviews out there. There's so many articles, so much analysis, where I don't have to do all that hard work. I don't have to be like super smart. I just need to compile it and then use my abilities to like create a story, which I haven't really done. I did with Weldon, but it wasn't edited. It was just like, he sends me his stuff. If he gets his facts mixed up, I like move things around to kind of edit what he's saying to keep the same meaning. But telling the story of his journey, the Weldon journey, was pretty much like all Weldon. 90% Weldon, not 99% Weldon. So it'd be cool to test my ability to tell stories. So I think the Immortals podcast should be the number one priority in the things that I'm trying to do. Yeah, I think so. I think it has the highest up value, and I think that's more related to what I'm trying to do. As much as fun as personality might be for like a daily news show or weekly news show, I think that's the way to go. But it's been really hard to actually do it because it's a lot of work, and I'm like psyching myself out and not doing it. So I need to find time to actually like do it. And that was actually going to be today, but then some stuff came up where I had to work on some other stuff, and that was actually really important. So I took care of that instead. Hopefully tomorrow I'll work. I feel like I'm actually like did work today, played one game of League, and then jumped on to like working. So that felt really good, and I need to really get into the habit of that so I don't lose steam. Pick up steam, because I've already lost steam completely. So we'll see how that goes. All right, thanks for tuning in. See you guys.